Yeah. Purple Lady Volume 1. Yeah. Purple Lady. Yeah. I'm your purple lady.
I got the good stuff.
Yeah.
Call me up if you wanna talk mama.
I'm your purple lady.
No sticks, no seeds. Call your folk, I got everything that you need.
I'm a hustler. A jack of all trades. Who said a girl couldn't get paid in all ways? But being pimp, check my math book. I did my homework. Boy, you want to test? 1 minus 1, it equals 0. You're not a hero. I got the game on lock. I think your fat and crack it up, and that's a fact.
Crank it up and that's a fact.
I got a flaming, and that's a fact.
I got a flame and that's a fact.
Before you judge me, come buy a pack of this good ish. You gotta see it ish. Straight right for your CD. A marijuana and the Swisher sweet. Purple, you so bad.
You so bad.
It's all good.
It's all
Oh, I
good.
wish you would. Step to me wrong. Yo, make me have to pick up my cell phone. You say you was raised near the Georgia Dome, but you scared to have some purple off in your dome. I'm your purple lady.
I got the
lady.
Call me up if you wanna talk mama.
I'm your purple lady.
No sticks, no seeds. Call your folk, I got everything that you need.
I'm your purple lady.
I got the good stuff. Call me up if you wanna talk mama.
I'm your purple lady.
No sticks, no seeds. Call your folk, I got everything that you need.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to Tuesday Talk with Eddonis. And tonight we're going to be talking about paranormal activities. I don't think my mic on. Type of 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I think there we go. There we go. I don't know. It's a stream. I was doing something weird. Tonight we're going to talk about paranormal activities with nurses that's working in hospitals. Now, as you all know, a hospital is basically a spiritual ground. There are babies born and there are people die. So spirits coming in and some that are leaving. So what sparked me to wanting to do this one was I watching this lady named Jules on Facebook talking about a hospice assignment that she took. And it was one of the things where this guy tried to kill himself, but he didn't die. So, but he didn't die immediately. It was like a long stretch out before he passed away. So, she said she was working on him, and she heard this voice saying he mine. But keep in mind, nobody's in the room with her. She just can hear these voices. So that was like day 1. So she continued to take care of him. And then after that, the second day she comes in, she checks on his machines and check on everything. And when she come back, the ventilator was unplugged. But the man is incapacitated, so it's not like he got up and unplugged the ventilator. So she plugs everything back in, and she goes on about her day with caring for him. Day 3 is when she said the man opened his eyes and just stared at the ceiling. And she was like, he was supposed to be like in a coma. And eventually he passed. And she said, as she was going down the hallway, she saw a man with a hat dragging him, the man that was supposed to be dead. Like, I guess that's his soul, down the hallway. So it kind of reminded me of that movie Ghost that Bill Cosby was in when the man got snapped. He died, and the dark figures came and took him. So it made me want to talk about this particular topic. So if there's any nurses in the chats, feel free to drop your experiences in the chat, and also drop what you're drinking and eating, so we can have some more conversations about that. So I did look up some more stories because I'm very interested into spiritual things. I like seeing folk getting delivered and all that kind of stuff. For some reason, I just like it. So I like all things spiritual. So I'm finna pull up a story, a couple more stories we could discuss on here about nurses taking hospice situations. I even saw my dad pass away. So it was kind of one of them things where you be trying to figure out, like, okay, where you go after this. So that's why I got into it after I saw that lady story. So finna read a couple of them that I pulled up. Some of these people write some of their stories out of Reddit. And I can't pronounce the name of this. It's a start with a Q. I think it's QR. It's Q. I think it's QAUROA. But here is one that I read before I got on here with y'all. So it says, I have so many stories. I don't know where to start. It's I worked in geriatrics, a nursing home for years. So most of my patients died within a few years of being with us. Anyways, I had a new patient moved into one of my rooms on my hall that my previous patient had just passed away in. And my new patient kept calling at night saying that there was a woman who kept coming into his room and trying to talk to her. At first, I just passed it off on her being in her 90s and struggling with dementia. So I assured her that I would lock the door at night to make sure no one came in. After about a week, this woman looked like she was hallucinating. The woman looked like, thinking she may be just hallucinating, her daughter or sister or something. And she proceeded to tell me that the woman had a pink robe on and blue fuzzy slippers, and her hair was up in curls. And the woman would come in and sit down in the foot of her bed, pat the new patient's feet, and try to talk to her. But she couldn't understand what she was saying. And the nurse said she almost pissed herself. The patient that I had in that room prior to the new one went to bed every night in her pink house robe, blue slippers, and hair in curlers. It stopped after about a few weeks. So yeah, that's like little creepy stuff that be happening. I met a couple nurses that they talked about like working especially at night in the hospital, especially dealing with like the older patients. They would see all kinds of stuff. And when they would first be telling, like, are you sure? And they be like, yeah, like nighttime. They say it goes down at nighttime, like between 3 and 5 in the morning, where all these spiritual stuff be happening on the hallways in the hospital. And that's pretty much when the spiritual veil is thin in between 3 and 5 in the morning. So I gotta let me go to this other page I was reading. I have another one. It says a nurse friend worked in a nursing home, and one of her parents, a man in his 80s, whom we call Sam, was rumored to have been involved with one of the most infamous crime families. He may have actually been a hitman and spent many years in prison before being paroled as an elderly man. One night, while assisting a patient, she suddenly heard a man screaming. She and the patient both looked into the hallway outside the room and were horrified to see Sam being dragged down the hallway by two figures dressed in all black. She dropped what she was doing and dashed into the hallway. No one was there. The exit door at the end of the hallway was still closed, looked locked to the outside, and the alarm was on but silent. Yeah, like it really gets crazy in the hospital. But it made me think, I was like, you know what? It's a bunch of spiritual places like that. Hospitals is one. Uh, of course, the funeral home, graveyards. It's another one I had on my mind that's pretty spiritual like that. Let me see what else. See what else I got on up in here. Now there was one I was just reading where a pimp set his worker on fire. So the pimp set the worker on fire, and how they both ended up in the hospital is why the girl was on fire. She bear hugged the pimp. So they both caught on fire. So that's how they ended up in the burn unit in the hospital. So The girl passed away first. But what was crazy was when the girl passed away, the pimp that set on fire was screaming to get the girl out the room, but the girl was already gone. Like that's mind blowing. Like imagine doing something to somebody and they die before you, and they in your room hunting you before you die. That's crazy work for me. Now you might be just want to live a good life and they ain't gotta worry about nobody hunting me. What up, what up, hello Barbara, this Shirley. How you doing? Thank you for joining me tonight. Yeah, so dang, why that thing get off my page like that? Yeah, that was one. There's so many of these stories. I'm finna find some more on here. Hold on. Let me see. I have another history. I used to work in a nursing home, and there were several times I walked past bedrooms to see if someone is sitting in the armchair next to the resident's bed, only for them to be gone when I take a second glance. I remember one resident who would go to bed every night around 1 a.m., then would wake up and enter the lounge around 3 a.m. without fail. We'd always give him sandwiches that we would set aside for him and for tea time. Once he finished these sandwiches and a cup of tea, he'd be ready for bed again, where he would stay until late morning. One night I came into work to find out, what up, Nadine? To find out he passed earlier that morning. However, at 3 a.m., as I was sitting in the lounge filling in the paperwork, the door to the bedroom opened and closed by itself. I wasn't the only one who saw it, but was the only one willing to accept it. What up, Freddie? What up, Vanessa? Man, I appreciate y'all pulling up on me, man. Getting some of these nursing stories out. Now I will lady said let's help support. Yes, I appreciate you guys. I really do. I will tell y'all my mom passed in it was a rehab slash nursing home. And I never forget, she was already coded, but because it threw me off so bad. One of the guys said, your mom is talking, and she looked in the corner and said, Jesus, and raised her hands. And that really was about it. So a lot of stuff do take places in these different areas. Oh yeah, I thought the chat had done moved up. I think, like I said, I really appreciate y'all for pulling up. I got another one. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it going. Some more people pulling in. What up, Frodo? Appreciate you for showing up, man. Thank you. I got what is I was sitting beside one of my close friends at ICU. She was on a ventilator in grave condition. They allowed me to sit by her bed all night. The sound of the ventilator swooshed and the bed slowly tilted from the side to side. I was reading a book. I was not asleep. I looked and saw 10 to 12 people standing across the room. They were dressed in loose clothing. A man sat in a chair and a child stood next to him. They was talking to one another but made no sound. They looked as if one old antique filter was over them, no color. I looked down and up again. They were still there. I figured they were her family waiting for her to cross over. Yeah, thank y'all, everybody. Thank y'all, everybody, man. Drop what y'all drinking and eating in the chat or what y'all have for dinner today. I had I made a taco potato skillet, which is just potatoes with the taco meat, lettuce, onions, your salsa on top. And that's pretty much all I had for dinner. And of course, water. I'm not much of a drinker. Any one of y'all nurses that want to tell about y'all work experience? If y'all done any hospice or CNA work, you're welcome to tell me. Let me see. You said no appetite today? Why not? You just don't feel like it? Miss Vanessa? Okay, I got another one here. It says, if you're skeptical about go, you said no, just not today. It's okay. Some days I don't feel like it myself. Nadine, if you're skeptical about ghosts, I urge you to work in a hospital. I used to think ghosts were nonsense, but no, they are 110% real. I learned that early on when I started working in hospitals, and over the years, I've seen hundreds of ghosts. It's an incredible thing to witness. There was a woman who used to walk up and down the hallways on one of the wards. She was elderly and wearing a hospital gown. I would follow for some times, and she would eventually walk through a wall and vanish until the next day. That's the other spot they got the supernatural experiences, the mental health. Not the mental health, the psych ward or the mental hospital. That's the other one. They have yeah, but it goes down in the hospital. It goes all the way down. Yeah, the psych ward be having supernatural experiences too. Frodo, you talking about yikes? Yeah, like the hospital people are born and die. That's a whole spiritual that's a real spiritual exchange. A being come out and a being go in. Let me see. And I like playing with I like seeing the babies in the hospital. It's something about them little babies. They be so cute. Like I wanted to go get the job. What up, Jug Flex? How you doing? I wanted to go to the it's not a job, it's like when you volunteer to hug babies or hold babies. I guess the babies either the mom have already given them up for adoption or something like that. Vanessa, you don't work in the psych ward. Do tell. You saw, go ahead and tell us. Go ahead and give me a story. Cause it be so, I don't know why I like that part of the life, the ghostly part. I don't know why. What time you be seeing them though? Cause I know them jokers be wrong with real early in the morning. We used to see them on construction sites too. Like me and a couple folk done seen ghosts on the construction site. We had to get there real early in the morning to go to work. They'll be all in the corners and stuff like that. I mean, I just ignore them. I'm going about my way. I pray and keep going. Oh no, there's some more. I think those stories from Reddit. You said you saw one in the evening around 8 or 9. Was it around like somebody who was passing, or that's just kind of what they be doing? Low key, high key be doing. Hold on, I think this one is nursing home long term. Must be here. I got another one up off this one. Okay, one says he said we went looking for him, but did not find him. That cause they probably knew you all were looking for him. Yeah, they say a lot of lights be flickering at night. Like the wee hours more lights and stuff be flickering in the hospital. Like it goes digital. So I got another one. I said it says I worked in a pediatric hospital and I always heard that the fourth floor outside oncology unit was haunted. I worked 312s normally, but would pick overtime and pick up a night shift. I was working in the NICU, which happened to also be on the fourth floor, but on the opposite side. The oncology had a staircase that was a shortcut down to the cafeteria, which was on the second floor. At about 3 a.m., I told y'all that time right there, I was ready to take a short break and wanted a cup of coffee from the cafeteria. So I decided to take their staircase. I walked through the automatic double doors and saw a kid skipping down the hall. I called out to him as I was afraid a little kid had snuck out of a patient room. As soon as I called him, he turned and in the blink of an eye, he totally vanished. A lot of other nurses and doctors had seen the same little kid skipping down the same hallway. Of course, I chalked it up to exhaustion and didn't really think much about it after that. But you are damn sure I didn't use the hallway. What up, Nadine? It says, Nadine said, Jesus, just before he took his last breath, my husband had the biggest smile on his face. My mom's last word was, thank you, Jesus. She had such a peaceful look on her face. Yeah, my mom said Jesus too and looked in the corner and raised her hands. But my mom's also last words to me was all is well. So every time I hear somebody say it, it remind me. And then if I hear some gospel songs, they say all is well, that gives me a reminder of her. You see, it was something on the tip of my tongue. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you one. I grew up in church, and when I was young, I say maybe like 8 or 9. The church I grew up in didn't have carpet at the time, and the reason they put carpet in the church because you could hear spirits walking down the hallway. So when I was younger, I heard a ball bouncing. And I got ready to go look and see who was in the building. My mom said, don't you go down the hallway. Because I don't know what would have happened, but me being childlike, if you hear a ball bouncing and like feet running, I want to go play with somebody. So I'm finna go play. My mom like, nah, you ain't finna go play with that. So much spiritual activity was taking place in this building. Like you hear doors opening and closing. I mean, it was wild work. So they put carpet in so you couldn't hear the footsteps. So that was one of the spiritual experiences I had growing up as a child. Like I used to be, I could see spirits now. Like as a matter of fact, I will tomorrow in my community section post this angel that was in my room. It was last year. It was around like July of last year that I had seen a whole angel, and it's not what you think. A lot of folks think an angel like a baby with some wings. This angel was an eyeball. It was literally an eyeball with about 6 to 8 wings on it. He said, "Oh no, I don't want to see nothing. As long as it's good." Hello, Barbara, this Shirley. If it's good, I'm cool. Like seeing the angel, that was like the coolest thing I had ever seen. Because I had always asked to see an angel, but when I saw it, I had seen that being in my room before, but I chalked it up to either I had went out that night and drank and came home. So I was thinking, no. But this time, I had had surgery done on one of my eyes, and my vision hadn't cleared up. So, but I could see that it was clear as a bell, and the angel was in the corner. It flew, ducked the ceiling fan, That's how I knew it was an angel. It didn't like it missed my ceiling fan. Dropped down, the eyeball was blinking. It went back up and got in the corner. And as I kept staring at it, it disappeared. And what I was listening to before I went to bed was I have a minister I like. His name is Jesse Duplantis. And he was talking about his trip to heaven. So when I looked up, I posted it on Instagram because I didn't know what kind of angels was. And Seth starts with an S. Hey, what is on the tip of my tongue? It starts with the letter S. But at any instant, I thought it was the coolest thing I seen was this big eyeball blinking in my room. It wasn't scary. It was pretty cool. It didn't have bad vibes. Now, I have seen the polar opposite, which is demons, and yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst thing I ever seen. Some of the worst creatures I ever seen in my life. So yeah, I'll get y'all another story. The archangel. Now the archangel is like your Michaels, your Gabriels. You know, it's like I got my computer out. I finna look. It starts with an S. Like Sephrim, the angels that start with an S. And it's in the Bible. So when somebody told me, I went to Google it, and it's in the Bible, and it's like they got some of them have many eyes and many wings. Angels with eyeballs. I'm finna find about eyeballs and wings. What do you call Sephrim? That's it. Sephrim. Sephrim. A Sephrim. So yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna post it. So you know, if you guys come back, you said I would be crazy as hell. No, I promise you, it's not. When you see one, you're gonna know you in good hands. Like it's not a bad feeling. You know that, yeah, that's from God right there. You like pretty well your soul gonna tell you, yeah, that's you safe. Because I wasn't scared. I was like, what is that in my corner over there? And it was a red eyeball with goldish wings. So yeah, you gonna know. You gonna know. I asked God to see it anyway, because everybody else, I listen to other people, and everybody's like, yeah, I can see. I seen the angel. I seen this. I'm like, okay, God, let me see an angel. I want to see one of those. I done seen all the bad stuff. I want to see some good stuff. Let me get back to some more nursing. It said, I don't think I'm ready to see that. Uh, well, why? Well, I just, I feel like I wanted to see what other people were seeing because, I listen to people stories online. I'm like, okay, you're seeing stuff. I want to see stuff. Just let me be able to handle it when I do see it. So it says, I was working at night and one of the patients died while I was in the room. We tried everything to revive this person, but it didn't work. So after, Hello Barbara said, I don't think I'm ready either. Frodo said, I'm scared. They said we tried to revive the person, but it didn't work. So after doing the paperwork and everything, I went to another place in the hospital. And I swear I don't want to do that. That this patient who I saw dead touched my right arm. I think that I never cried that much in all my life. Now that right there, that I think that now that would have did it. Like if I just saw you pass and I go to the other end of the hospital and you decide to follow me and touch my arm, I don't know nothing I don't know. That might be my last day of work. Hello Barbara say they say if it's of God, it doesn't scare you. But I don't want to see it though. No, it didn't scare me because I had seen that thing before, but that was before I really was like Like I always believed in God, but you could believe in God and not act like it. So that was before I really just had honed in on to God. But I had seen that being at least two times before, and I didn't pay it much mind. That time was the first time I really was just laying in my bed looking, and I'm like, "What is that on my ceiling?" Like what is that? And the eyeball wasn't that big though. It was big, but not big. Not like the pictures that they have online now. I don't know. Maybe I think I can handle if I seen some of that stuff in my room. But I've seen other spiritual things around me or in houses or in people. Like for me, I can feel stuff through the phone from people. I can feel stuff through the phone. If I'm talking to the person on the phone, they got a bad spirit, I can feel that. Um People eyes. Like so I do know my spirit will irritate somebody's demons. I've seen it in person. I can walk into a room and see somebody's face kind of contort or their eyes do something really weird. And I was like, or I can make somebody immediately dislike me from walking into a room. We might not have had any interaction, any conversations, is like an immediately dislike. And it took me a while to realize that sometimes your presence can irritate or activate somebody's demons. So I had to learn that everything ain't physical. A lot of stuff is just straight up spiritual. Let me see what this one say. I used to work in a nursing home as both a CNA and an LPN. And while nothing too crazy happened, there was definitely things that happened out of the ordinary. I remember one time after someone had died, I was cleaning up her body. The odor to the room, hold on, the door, excuse me. The door to the room swung wide open, even though it had been firmly latched and nobody was there. It gave me the creeps. There was instances of furniture being moved, lights turning on and by themselves, and toilets randomly flushing by themselves as well. I also remember I had one resident one night who asked me to make sure I closed the door to the closet that was at the end of the bed. And she told me that when it was open, that woman kept going in and out all night and it kept her awake. He said, Freddie Jesse, you believe it? Yeah, yeah, it gets crazy. I was gonna tell there was something that happened in my room about 2 days ago. 2 days, what's today? What Tuesday? We're gonna say Friday. Not even Friday. Thursday. Thursday or Friday. Um, so I asked God to work on my mouth as far as like using profanity. So my son had done something and I don't curse at him. I just use profanity in regular sentences. So there's a difference. When I started talking and I started using profanity, I said to myself, like, nah, I want to stop. I'm going to stop. The light switch in my room was off, but the light cut on. Like, I can't explain it. The light physically was off, but the light bulb cut on and cut off by itself. So me and my son looked at each other and I was like, am I having an electrical issue? Now, I'm by trade, I'm an electrician. So I was like, the only time something like that's happening is that something's going on with the power coming into the house. So I got up, caught all these people, and they're like, well, nothing's wrong. And after I came in and sat down, I chalked it up to that was like confirmation that I'm heading in the right direction for my mouth. Because the light just literally came on. And it stayed on long enough for me to be like, what in the world? And it cut off. So stuff, everything around us is spiritual. So that was just one where I was like, what just happened here? Shook it off and went on about my way. And there was another myself where I was downtown Atlanta, and there was a man sitting down, and he was in bad health though. He was sitting down, and he asked me. He said, "Can you give me something to eat?" And I was like, "All right, cool." Handing him $10. He looked at me, and that's all I had on me was like $10 in cash. Can you believe when I walked away, turned around and looked back, that man was gone? I handed this man $10. He was not able to move that fast. Like he was literally like he was in bad shape. And I took my couple paces to go to the park to my car. I looked back and that man was completely 100% gone. All the bags he had with him was gone. Everything was gone. It was like he never was there. And I'm not tripping. Like I knew that day, I knew I wasn't tripping. It was broad daylight. And just every now and then I, help people out that. So this is during my time my mom was alive. My mom said that there will be times in your life where you will be entertaining an angel and don't know it. And I listen to her. So when I see people that's outside like that, whether they do right or wrong, when I give it to them, they're between them and God. Hello, Barbara. This sir said, yes, my uncle told me a story like that before and said it happened to him at the store. Yeah, like I'll be like, where you go? Like, how you move that fast? And I could like to this day, I be wondering what angel was I talking to? Because they're that like how? So I was reading in the Bible, can't remember where in the Bible, where it says you will be entertaining angels. I would know it's saying a lot of and God going when you pass or whatever, God will talk to you about that. So for those that mistreat those people, you going to answer for that. It says facts. It's called entertaining an angel. Yeah, yep. That's definitely it. That's definitely it. I don't take any of those encounters, you know, I don't know what you call it. I don't neglect those encounters. I don't know if they neglect is the word, but I take them serious. Like if I see anybody that need help, especially if they approach me, I always give it. Cause I be wondering, like, are you an angel? I don't never think like, oh, they gonna go do drugs in the morning. I always wonder, like, you just could be an angel, and I'm gonna give it to you. So I always give it. But there was a time where I was working, and there was a lady at the so I had like a little contract where I was putting up TVs in pharmacies. And this pharmacy is off Bankhead. So if you're from Atlanta, you know what Bankhead is. It said, hello, Barbara Shirley. I bet you will bless. Like Barbara, I give her all Miss Barbara Shirley, I give her all the time. Like I ain't got no problems with giving. Cause I look at it as it's God money anyway. He gonna give it right back. So I don't be worried about it. Like anytime so I walk up and be like, hey, I'm hungry. Yeah, here's $20, here 30. If the woman come up with a child, here's 50. So you can eat what have you. But I always give. Cause that's just what we were here for anyway. We're supposed to be blessing. We are blessed to be a blessing. So that's why we're here. But this story here is it's not frightening, but it's kind of weird. So every now and then I can hear someone's thoughts. And don't want to scare you, but sometimes I can. So this lady here, I was working and I stepped outside and I responded that I didn't have no money. And lady said, I didn't say anything. And I was like, I heard you ask me for some money. And I just told you I ain't got it. She said, I need some money, but I didn't say anything. And I'm like, really? So the lady says, hey, Actually, I'm in a shelter and I only have enough money to get back to the shelter. And I was like, but she said I don't have no money to get in the shelter. So I gave her $20. And as I was walking to the trash can, I heard this voice say, give her 20 more. And I was like, "Eh." So I turned around, gave the lady 20 more dollars. And she starts crying. And I was like, what's the problem? She's like, I thank you. She said, because it cost $20 to get in. She said, but I don't have like dinner and stuff like that. And I asked her how she got in this situation. She was a young girl. And what I mean by young, 50 is young to be, strung out. Well, should be any age of strung out is young. And I asked her about, if she had kids and she had been assaulted several times, but because she's in the streets. But this is the part where it kind of I wasn't ready myself. I asked her if she would like me to pray for her. When I grabbed her hand, her voice changed and said, I'm not ready. Like it went from normal to deep. And it shook me. And whatever was speaking through her said, please don't pray for me. Please don't pray for me. And I was like, what in the world? So she started crying. And she said, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So I didn't say anything. When she walked away, I prayed. I didn't pray in front of her. I just prayed that she would get delivered and be able to be a mom to her children. Now, I haven't seen that woman in years, but hopefully those things started manifesting in her life when she got it together and started being able to take care of kids. Definitely, Barbara Shirley, that was a demon. I had never done deliverance on anybody before, and there's no minister around. I ain't a minister. I just was like, I pray for you. I'm gonna go back up to your comment up here. He says, I remember the story about Jesus going to a lady house for water, milk, and bread. At each time she lied to the man, and later that day called on Jesus, and he appeared and told her, I came 3 times and you turned me away and disappeared. Yeah, that thing had her. Yeah, it had a hold on that lady. Cause I was asking like, how did you get out here? How long you been in these streets? But that voice changed, and it scared me. Cause I see it on, I see it on YouTube, like when the ministers are doing deliverance. But to actually see it in person, and you the one about to deliver the person, that hit different. Like I was like, I would love to be able to do deliverance, but I got some more areas in my life I need to clean up. The trust and believe. If you try that and you ain't living right, you in trouble. You said I just got you the microwave version. Yeah, I'm gonna go look that story up. There's another one where the man asked for help and God kept sending a boat. And the man didn't want the boat, which is, a lot of people like that with pride. But I was a baby, Barbara. Barbara, I was a baby. I was a baby in it. Because I was like, oh my God. Woo! And it thinks it's don't pray for me. Don't pray for me. I was like, oh my, what do we do now? I was like, oh my. So when she came back and she walked away, I just prayed in the opposite direction. 'Cause I feel like even if I'm holding you, if I'm holding your hand, you can get the level where the person standing there holding your hand, or somebody pray for you on the other side of town. Like I prayed for a family member who um who lost his mom, and he was dealing with drugs. And I was like, Lord, don't let him go too far. Like Lord, but I actually asked God to take the taste out of his mouth for it. Like take the taste away. And I didn't think nothing else of it. And I saw him for his birthday. He said, I haven't had a drink in months. And I'm like, yes. Because I do know that, trauma and stuff like that do cause people to have some type of it brings disorders and stuff and addictions because people are trying to cope. He said, but you're right, that demon can jump if you have to have the anointed handle to them. Yeah, see, your faith got to be at a certain level too. I just was going by the directions I was hearing in my ears, far as given to, and I know that if I'm out there, I should pray for that person because what they have going on is spiritual. I just wasn't expecting the voice change. The voice change is what did it. And I was like, ooh. Because if you ain't right, you remember that story in the Bible where that demon said, Jesus, I know, Peter, I know, but who are you? I don't want that. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready. Eventually, I will be ready. But that right there, I wasn't ready at that moment. I just knew let me pray for you when you walk away. Also, if the person doesn't accept the Holy Spirit, that means the door open for that demon and seven more that's worse to come in. So there are some other things that got to take place too. He said, I always remember if it ever happened again, plead the blood of Jesus, even the devil should. Yes, ma'am. I plead that over my house, my son, my finances, me, my car. Yeah, I've been slanging blood all over the place. You can get it. You can get it. And you can get it. Everybody gets it around here. Let me see some more story. Yeah, that was one I had to tell because I was like, man. It says one of the rooms I was at something. Man. All right, here's another. It says one of the rooms we have is obviously something having something of a hunting. A man in a gown gestured one of the techs to come in. She went in and he was gone. 1 week earlier, a female patient was asking to get a different room because a man wouldn't leave her room. We just thought it was some sort of delirium. Multiple others have seen him too. Hmm. He said multiple others have seen him too. I be wondering, does anybody pray over a hospital? Like how does that, how does that work? 'Cause like I say, it's the same occurrences everywhere. Or skip down. It says, I'm a psychiatrist. And during my training years, I worked 6 months at a ward. Here we go for the psych ward. At a ward, treating patients with depressive and anxiety disorders. It was an old building which had been housing psychiatric patients since the mid 1920s. On our floor, we had beds and a nursing station, a living room, and a few conference rooms. One day, a few weeks in, I'm interviewing a patient who tells me she heard a baby crying at night, waking her up. There are no babies in the hospital as the place is situated far away from housing areas and there was restricted visiting hours. Afterwards, the nurses pull me aside and tells me that the baby crying thing is not a psychiatric symptom. She's very serious about this, but won't elaborate. So I kind of shrugged it off as either way, it does not change the diagnostic treatment and forget about the experience. About 3 months in my stay, I sat in the nurses' station and three nurses behind me are talking. One of them says she is a very active today. And the others say, really? Oh, I had noticed. I turned around and asked them, who are they talking about? They looked at each other And then one of them hesitantly says, "Well, there is a baby here. She cries sometimes." And I, of course, say no, but they just kind of shrugged and smiled. Not 30 seconds later, it sounded far away, but not too far, a cry, clearly a baby's cry, sounding, why you move around on me? Sounding like it is separated from us by maybe two or three walls. I am perplexed and looked at the nurses. They looked at me and said, "Told you so." Since then, I heard it maybe 2 to 3 times a week. I told a new doctor about it who laughed. However, a few weeks into her stay, she came to me white as a sheet and told me she heard it in their coffee break. All the nurses just kind of knew about it. And being in a psychiatric hearing, that kind of stuff is not really something you brag about. I was transferred and haven't heard it since. I think about it sometimes, but I don't really know what to make of it. He said most nursing homes have a church. I bet all kind of spirits are there. Yeah, the home my mom was in Georgia was called Christian City Center, and they really had a church services and stuff like that. He said something happened with the baby then there and had all that kind of, yeah, anything could happen with a baby, like especially if it's like a hospital before that or a death. What up, Ray 1000? What's happening? Appreciate you for showing up. Totally appreciate it. So I'm gonna tell you this story, another one, and this one right here was like you knew something bad was in this building. So it's another one where my mom would work at this church after she got off work. So I was with her, and we was in there, and something was so evil in there, you could feel it. Like it was so bad that me and my mom looked at each other, and I've never been a small person. My mom scooped me up like a football, grabbed her stuff, and ran us out the building, and we got in the car. She didn't set the alarm or nothing. When I say this presence was, I knew it was bad. Like I can't explain the level of get out of here that this gave me and my mom. Like we both looked like, nah, this ain't right. It was bad, bad. And we left. Now the funny, not so funny part was a lot of people that's in church don't understand the spiritual world, even though it is all spiritual. And that thing, I mean, like it made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Said, did you raise the hairs? Yeah, it raised the hairs on our neck. It really did. It raised the hairs on our neck, and we got up out of there. Like, got when I say gone, my mom grabbed her keys, me, her coat, and bolted to the door. Like, I would never, ever, ever, ever forget that. And I mean, I've seen bad spirits before, but that one you couldn't see it, but it felt like it just got heavy. Like the air was just heavy. Ray one thing, he said, my mom used to say, do not fear the deceased, fear the living. Yeah. I told my son that the dead ain't what you got to worry about. It's these jokers that's walking around you got to be worried about. The dead is gone, they finished. Here's another. It said my mom used to work as a nurse in the burn unit at a hospital in Dallas, Texas. She told me that the people would always talk about how the burn unit was apparently haunted. She wasn't really sure whether or not to believe this until a little girl came into the unit with horrific burns. The little girl did not always have parents to stay the night with her. So my mom would try to check up on her pretty often when she worked. One night, my mom asked the girl if she ever got scared at night. The little girl responded, "No, I don't get scared because an old lady comes to read to me every single night and sits beside my bed while I fall asleep." This shocked me. This shocked my mom because there were no older women working in the burn unit at night, and she would usually be the only person on duty during these times. Isn't that scary? But she always recalls it being one of the craziest things that she ever had happen as a healthcare worker. What up, OG Dunlap? Appreciate you for showing up, man. Appreciate you, appreciate you. Here's another student nurse here. It says, once had a patient say, "Do you ever feel the chill whenever you're on the computer?" Don't worry, it's just a nurse who worked here a long time ago. She doesn't understand your technology, so she's trying to learn. I always feel someone is looking over my shoulder when I'm on the computer, and this freaked me out. That story was alright. It wasn't now I will tell you, sometimes the chill is confirmation for something if you're just trying to figure out which direction to go. You know, in life, if you want to go forwards, backwards, to side, sometimes that chill. It says hatched was going good. It's going good. Hatch, we still going. It's good too. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it entertaining. Try to keep it entertaining. I get a lot of dreams too that actually be happening, which is it's not weird. Yes, I like what you said, my bad typo. Yeah, I got a lot. I be having dreams that actually be happening, which is kind of weird within itself. But yeah, it's not even weird. It's just you get your warnings from it. I'm trying to y'all can hit that like button for me. That would be cool. It's almost like hitting the doorbell. Waiting on this to restart. See what else we got going on. Some more stories. Is any more nurses in the chats? I see some more people in the building. Trying to get to. Cause I'm bouncing between two pages. They got nurses stories to kind of keep it hot. It says, OG Gretchen, you said, have anybody ever looked around twice because they thought they seen somebody standing in a place? I done seen like the corner of my eye. Like I might catch a glimpse in the corner of my eye. It's not all the time, but it's here and there. You say you lay sometimes and fall asleep, but I can see things before they happen. Like you get visions, Gretchen? Yeah, so Gretchen gets visions. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's that'll keep you, I call it, that'll keep you alive longer. It'll save your life. You get some visions. Okay, let me switch to this other page. Yeah, mine comes as dreams. Or I get like I get a thought, or I get some in the pit of my stomach. When I get something in the pit of my stomach that let me know that something ain't safe, I believe it. I go for it. Like you say, you don't want to be seeing nothing, hearing nothing. As long as it's from God, I'm cool. If it's from the other side, I'm straight. Keep all that. I don't want to hear nothing on the wrong side. I wonder if I read say if you're skeptical, I urge you to work in the hospital. I read that one already. Y'all read a good bit of me. Oh, it says here, I have been present for maybe 150 deaths. During 5 of them, the patient fought it for hours, even days. They were scared and afraid to let go. And I leaned over, held their hand, and whispered in their ear sometimes, like everything is okay. Your family's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of. Just relax, let go. Soon, their heart slowed down to zero, respiration stopped, and then there was high pressure in the room. My ears popped, the lights flickered, and the doors closed. That seemed a little supernatural to me, but strangely, after the first time, not scary. All right, Gretchen, it says, or laying in the bed and feel like a person just sat on the bed. And I could feel like the weight of their hands touching my feet. But I lost a son 47 years ago, and I feel like it be him checking on me. Oh, man. Ray 1000 say, no spirits be tripping. Yeah, like, my dad passed in his house, and it's not much supernatural activity that happened there, but it's when someone don't supposed to be living there, the plumbing acts a fool. Like anytime somebody that don't supposed to be living in that house, something happens with the plumbing there. So plumbing or electrical. So I had a tenant call me and she was like, Adonis, we got the lights in the hallway. And every so often, and it's for when they get up and go to the bathroom. As you taking a step, the lights are cutting on. She told me every so often the lights would cut on by themselves, like as if somebody's walking down the hallway. Or flickering lights in the living room. And there's been times where something would happen with the plumbing. I'll go over there and I'll find nothing wrong with the plumbing. Like I can go to the house, nothing happens. Everything will go back to normal. And I'm like, now all I gotta do is walk in here. I'll walk in that building, the house. The lady said the flickering lights would stop and the plumber would go back to normal. Because I'll be looking like there's nothing wrong. And I've had it so many times. He says, let me go back up to this other comment. It says, my neighbor were screaming for help outside Saturday night because hers and her girlfriend was fighting. Instead of me opening the door, I ran and jumped, and I mean jumped in my husband's chest. Gretchen, he says, what, the plumbing? Yeah, the plumbing. The toilets were back up. And this been like about 8 years ago. The plumbing will back up in the house. And I can go there and flush the toilet and nothing be wrong. And I'm like, man, I just flushed the toilet. And she like, the toilet was not flushing like that. And it would happen like periodic, like every so many years, this would happen. You say, hell no, they can have it. Ray Wayne 1000 said, yeah, I also asked if someone passed in the house before I move in it. The funny part is unless you ask, I think for Georgia, unless you ask, the person had to tell. The person knew me though that was living in the house, so they knew my dad had passed in the house. But like it ain't something you got his close. And you can hear the pipes popping loud. Yeah, this one, the pipes weren't popping, the toilet just wouldn't flush. And I would come over with my hazmat suit on, thinking I gotta open up the pipe the clean out and run a snake. And I come up with all these equipment and don't not be wrong. So yeah, it's wild, wild work. Let me see. I got some more stories for y'all on the supernatural. He said, so the house is built on top of a graveyard. I, I don't think that one is. Now I live there. I always saw spirits in the house. Like I saw my great grandmama, but I had never met her. Like when I was younger. So my mom's people, from what she told me, they were they Cherokees, that Cherokee and something else. So there was this woman I saw in the hallway with these long pigtails, and it was to the floor. I saw her. She looked at me. I looked at her, and she was like gray looking. Like I saw it, and I went to my mom and told her what I saw, and she like, "How you know what your great grandmama looked like?" No, yes, that's my great grandma, cause that's my grandmama's mama. I was like, I don't know, like I ain't know. To this day, I haven't seen a picture of what this woman looked like, no more than seeing her in the hallway as a child. He says, so we can't be afraid of the people who's not living. It's like you said earlier, it's the ones who live. Yeah, I wasn't yeah, the ones not living gone. They can't do nothing. They I keep it simple with them for they either in heaven or hell. Preferably heaven, hope not hell. I took um I took my son, I did a job at a funeral home, and this was like by far, this blew me. So I was putting lights in the embalming area, and I had my son come with me. So I was like, hey man, I'm gonna pay you, to come with me. I just need you to hand me my tools because I'm gonna have to reach over dead bodies. So my son walked back there with me and saw all them bodies. What up, Only Smiles? What's happening? What's happening? I appreciate you for pulling up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, my son saw all them bodies back there. My son, Chocolate, he became light skinned immediately. Like, he was like, and I was like, you ain't got to worry about these people. They are finished. But I think the part was while we was working, they brought a new body in there. That's what took me. I was like, hey, bro, like, home was fresh. Like he had time to be, he just got there. And I had to move these bodies around while putting up these LED lights. That's because they could see better while they doing the embalming and things like that. But the new body, the old ones were cool. They had them finish them. But that new one they snatched in there, I was like, hey, and we worked there close to midnight. So I told my son, once we start approaching midnight, we getting up out of here. Because you already know what time it is. Spirit home, bodies. I'm going to get these lights in, and we getting the HE double high six right on up out of here. So they was messing with my son. They were like, last electrician, they were messing with him. They said, yeah, we were like slamming doors. They said that man there left his tools here and left and never came back. And I was like, nah, you ain't gonna scare my money. I said, I just got to fight the air. I said, one of these bodies get back up. You just gonna see me here fighting the body. That's it. That's all. He said, oh, I wish I could. It's good money there. It's for what is it, being a mortician? Yeah, them morticians, they eating now. They eat. I had to give to them, but I don't think my stomach would let me I don't think my stomach would allow me to be a mortician. He says, yes, the one. Yeah, yeah. says, I don't care where they are as long as I don't wanna be none of them. Yeah, it was a lady that looked really, really young. And I was like, damn, how you get here? You know, you be looking and you see somebody that look young, you know. I just be wondering, like, dang, do you supposed to be here? Like, how you get here? You shouldn't be here. Now, older person understood, like, you know, somebody 75, 80, 85, 90. Cause you ain't gonna live forever anyway. Them is understandable, but somebody extremely young is like, come on, man. He says, my mother saw her mom one time. This is Vanessa. When she went to hug her, she went away. Uh Ray Ray said, I just can't do it. Richard said, have anybody ever went into a funeral home and all of a sudden it's like a body set up? Now I ain't seen that. And I don't think I want to either now, Miss Gretchen. Ray Ray one thing said, yeah, I have a good friend going to school to be a mortician. It money in the boo boo. That's bread. Cause one thing about it, somebody gonna die. Hope not soon, but every day somebody getting up out of here. Or watch your body and it was like you can see the chest move. I always look at, you know, when I go to a funeral, you kind of see it a little bit. Yeah, Ray Ray, I'm good. I put the lights in the building though for 'em. Let me see what else. Vanessa said no, Gretchen. Yeah, I put lights in there. When we was in the they rolled that man down, he was still bleeding. I was like, yo, like, can you put him in the hallway? Like, I just like, oh my. You know, I was like, oh. When I said, huh, you ain't got to worry about me. Like that right there, I was like, you know, I want to ask, can y'all put the body somewhere else while I'm working? But they couldn't. That's just kind of where they have it because the room is set to a certain temp. Um, but I mean, I seen them go to work. They hazmat up. They got the gear on, and then there was a sign on the door about COVID, and I was like, "Hey, what about somebody who died for COVID? They got to cut the body up." Like, yeah, it's deep. Like, it seemed interesting. It's just that I'd rather touch the building than touch the body. I also think nursing is cool. So here's why I think nursing is cool is because like you are certified to fix people. Like, like some people are certified to fix cars. A nurse is certified to fix people. So I think fixing people is a dope career of all the careers. Because one thing you got to have is your doctors and your nurses. Without them, you're done. And I treat all the nurses and doctors with high respect because them 12-hour shifts, that's got to be monster. Someone working 12-hour shifts 5, 6 days a week, that is a monstrous undertaking. You said on the smile said, I love helping people, but I'm a punk. I think it says see blood. This dollar sign in the way on my thing. Yeah, I can't because they everybody can say, Don, if you go to school for healthcare, you get your loans forgiven. And I'm like, listen, I don't know if I want to take someone else's blood. Like, you gotta actually touch other people. And that's just like, no. I ain't that think about it. No. I even thought that like doing surgery, like surgery is sounds cool. Like when people cut people open and you fixing them, to me it's equivalent to working on the car, except with a car you can mess up. You can't mess up a person. That's where I draw the line. Like with a car, you can even over tighten the screw, under tighten, you can fix that easily. But I don't know, you break a bone, how you gonna explain to somebody? Yeah, I accidentally broke your pinky. It was in the way. My bad. Nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. I see more people in the building. I appreciate y'all for hitting that like button. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Lynn. How y'all doing? What's up? What's up? Thank you for pulling up on me. He said, but I love people, but doing nursing was. Oh, so OG, you was a nurse. Yeah, see, I think nursing is like a special calling. Nursing, now if I wanted to be a doctor, I like to be a baby doctor with the babies. I love me some babies. Baby, my thoughts, I need a hip repair, 2 knees. I gotta put in my order. Ray, you need hip and knees? Say, hey, Barb. We say, hey, Lynn, I was just about to call you. Let's help support Adonis. I appreciate y'all, man, for support, man. Y'all call all your friends to come support me, man. I'm just trying to do my thing over here in the corner. I respect our first responders. God bless y'all. Amen. Amen. On the smile. Them first responders got me to the hospital just in time. Because if I had been any later, y'all wouldn't have had no show for me or even have met me. So y'all, the first responders, um, all doctors and nurses. Yeah, I mean, even down to the people that keep the hospital clean. Like I be appreciative of those people. Because it pretty hard dealing with you deal with all kind of personalities. So I try to make their life easy. Now I don't want to be no in and out hospital person. But the last time I was there, I always tried to make the people life easy or crack jokes with them. Try to make it light. Yeah, the CNNs now. I think the CNNs get the most hell though. That and I think because they at the beginning of the nursing journey, I think they catch the most absolute hell in the medical field. Um, and also, I think the nursing homes are the worst. When I used to visit my mom, what up, Lynn? Lynn said I like work with the elderly. Yeah, I like elderly. Like to me, old babies. They cute. Like old people cute and funny to me, but they really old. Oh, I call them old toddlers. So I used to visit when my mom was living. I would visit her, and there was a man I could tell if people hadn't really visited him like that. So I would always go in there, hang out with him, and talk to him a little bit before and after I see my mom, because you can tell who get visitors and who don't. And it'll break my heart, like seeing old people in a nursing home and don't nobody pull up on them. Yeah, old people are hilarious. I think because they just don't care about they don't care no more. Like whatever they say goes. He says my daughter on the spot says my daughter was one and did the most work, but she loved her residents and they loved her. Yeah, I like old people. They just be trying to live life. And what I mean by that is they happy with waking up. They happy with a basic meal. I ain't saying like, and what I mean by a basic meal, of course, decent meal, but they not like, go give me that crab ball. They might just want a sandwich and some chips. Somebody just want to sit outside and look. And it is cute to see them get old like that. Like I aspire to be that old 80. I want God to give me at least a hot 80. OG Dunlap says CNN, LPN, RPN, and I think PRN and doctors are all great. A hospital or nursing facility can't run without them. Yeah, let me tell y'all a little bit about my little situation with a doctor, and I would say his name is Dr. Pahash. So shouts out to him. I know I've told this story before, but for the people that haven't heard it, this is about my heart attack. And in 2023, I died of my heart attack. Like I really don't supposed to be here, but God saw fit to give me a second time. So this doctor, I was fast pacing it. This doctor said he didn't think he could save my life. Like he said, I usually just tell the family, the bad news. He said, but I saw your son in the hallway and I decided I would give it a try. I would try to save her life. And he lost me doing the procedure because the procedure's stents because I had a torn artery and a blood clot. And he finished and I started talking because I had passed away. He said, I started talking and you scared me. And I told him thank you. And the reason why I'm telling you all this story because what if he just said, "No, I'm good." Like, "Nah, I can't save you." Because you got that one doctor that got to come in. And he was like, "Let me try." And he did. He did. I feel better. I mean, that was the best feeling in the world was getting a stent out while having a heart attack, of course. And the fact that he just was like, you know what, let me at least try. Let me see. He said he didn't have confidence. He didn't have the faith that he could save me. So every time I see him, me and him chop it up. Every time I see him, I tell him, thank you. I appreciate you, because that's the reason my son got a mom. So big ups to the doctors. That's Piedmont Fed. Appreciate it. Big up to the doctors that they try and give them respect. I used to live OG Gress. I used to love being with them, getting up, getting them dressed, making up their faces, combing their hair, taking them out, just not giving medicine. Yeah, I love hanging out with the elderly, man. Like they talking to them. I like finding history out, like what happened back in the 60s, back in the 50s, back in the 70s. Because I think the books be lying to us. So I like talking to older people. They'll tell you what really happened. Like that's what's gonna save us. Like the older people, if people can write down what the older people are telling us. That's what's gonna save us history wise with the future, because they're gonna rewrite history. And all you're gonna have is what older people are left to tell you. Yeah. Only Smiles says, you feel me too? Let me see if I missed the comment. Mention yes, they are. Okay, I ain't missed no comments. I ain't missed no comments, y'all. Yeah, now I've always wanted to see. I would like to see surgery, as in like a video. Like I think my stomach may tolerate a video of someone performing surgery. OG said one of my grandmoms lived to be 101, and my uncle signed for her to have surgery when they cut her from the chest down. So the doctor thought he had lost her. And when she said amen, he ran out the room. OG. We taking these doctors up through there. We taking them up through there. Yeah, my doctor said I startled him because I said, "Whoo, thank you." I mean, because that was that feeling of that stent, and that is this electrifying. I can't explain this electricity feeling that went from my toes all the way up to my head. Like I can't. I wish there was words for it. And it felt so good. Like if I could go get that in a bottle somewhere, I'd drink it all the time. Like it felt really, really good. It says the only thing she told him was obviously he didn't serve the same God that she did. Well, a lot of time that makes them a believer though. Like OG Gretchen, when something like that happen, that'll make an unbeliever a believer. Cause once you when that man told me, he said, "You were gone." He said, "We tried to resuscitate you. You was not responsive." He said, "Your blood pressure dropped and your heart stopped." And we just he said, "I was just trying to figure out how am I gonna tell your son I lost you." He said, "Then you turned around and started talking." Now, from my end, I was asking for water. It was cold. I asked for covers. I was really thirsty. And I know there wasn't nobody listening to me. Like the room was completely and totally ignoring me. So I was like, all right, you know, y'all not listening to me. Then I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't be drinking doing surgery. I don't know. But I had no idea that it was a passaway moment. Uh Lynn, Gretchen, yes, I love my residents, been a CNA for 33 years. Shouts out to Lear Rose. We need y'all. We need y'all. Because it's always a shortage. That's why y'all schooling be for free. Because it's always a shortage. Like you got to be, it takes a special person to be a nurse. OG says, because he was scared, he really was looking at her age and she had gained green in her small intestine and it wasn't looking as it was looking too good for her. You know what though? Oh, do you know how they do us now? We especially, when we're older, because I always feel like they always kind of push the older black people off the planet. And I just saw that with my parents, like when they were going through their chemo thing. So I always felt like they either practicing on us, like this different medicine and stuff, and I don't like it. Or, if a mistake happens, they're like, well, you is old. And I'm like, nah, man, give the people as much, give the people a fair fight. Like, I don't think, like, say, like the cancer patients, when I give them chemo, and I'm like, chemo is going to kill these people. Why are you doing it? Let them live. If this disease is as deadly as they say it is, let them live. Why is you shortening their life practicing on them? Lynn Ross, Vanessa, Lynn's stupid, strong face don't know how important CNAs are. Yeah, people don't understand CNAs. Y'all make the world go round. CNAs make the world go round. Yes, and the color skin. Yeah, I always felt they practice with this radiation and this chemo. So I never forget my mom was taking what's it called Keytruda. Yeah, and it was Keytruda, and she wasn't getting better. And I was like, for me, what you keep doing it for? And we just going and going and going. I couldn't understand, and I kept saying, so when do we stop doing these treatments? Like, and she like, if we just going, it's gonna contain it. And I just feel like y'all be lying. Mm, it does, like, you know what I'm saying? Why y'all lying to these people? Yes, well, nurse. What up? What up, summer mommy? What's going on with you? Yeah, I'm like these people, they lie with this medicine stuff. And just keep it real. If if the person is gonna pass, let them go live their best life. Don't debilitate them and then give false hope. That's how I look at it. Like it just be like nothing but false hope. So I just think like the chemos, the radiation, and then I didn't understand like I guess radiation burn, like why the person turns different colors. Like it's a lot with this whole thing here. I never understood cancer, the medicine that come with it. And like I said, the doctors and nurses are doing what they can. Like I always gave them they props no matter what. With this, I'm trying to read through do some of my chats here. Yeah, so it gets a little wild in there. Now what I can't stand when these folk be cussing these nurses out. I can't stand it. I think that's the most craziest thing you could ever do. Is cuss out your nurse. Why? Why do people feel the need that they can do that? That's the person that's helping you. Like, taking care of a sick person is not easy. Even if the person is being paid, it's not easy. I don't even think the pay is enough. So why? I saw the hearts pop up down there. So why even disrespect these people that got a hard enough job as it is? It's hard trying to keep up with people medicine. There's so many nurses, something else too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I've seen a couple of bad ones. I've seen a few bad ones. But it ain't bad enough to treat everybody sideways. Nah, it ain't bad enough to treat everybody sideways in that field. Hold on. See if I can kick out another one of these stories for y'all. Let me see. See if I can kick out another one. This one was 14. I've been random with these stories too. Oh no. It said Eddonis, are you in the medical field? No, I'm in construction. I'm in construction, but I've been my parents' caregiver. So maybe. Can I count being a caregiver in the medical field? Like I made sure they got to their doctor's appointments and took their medicine and stuff like that. And if somebody having a medical emergency, I can like keep them alive until the professionals till the professionals show up. He said you have a heart for the medical field. Yeah, on this I thought about it, but I don't know. I'm so far along in my construction, it's construction and electrical. I don't know if I want to do the U-turn to go to medical. But I don't mind caregiving though. You said, oh, well, you just like a CNA, you just have to be a certified caretaker. Yeah, because in Georgia, if you're not related to the person, yeah, you got to go get those certifications. He said, all that money. Yes, Vanessa. Big shout out to the CNAs. Just if I get some more nurse stories before we get up, before we wrap this thing up. No stories about supernatural. No. But I know, like, if I started over to go be a nurse now, I'll be at the bottom of the totem pole on the pay. Cause I'd be fresh in. I wouldn't know heads or tail, what kind of how to handle, how to take blood. Like all that stuff is that's an art. Okay, so they got one. It says, said Donald, you might as well become a nurse or something because I'm retired now, old enough to have a nurse. Oh, gee, I can look out for you. I think I'm pretty good at making sure, take your meds and, you eat. Yeah, yeah, Barbara. Yeah, I am in the bag as an electrician. So I do high and low voltage electrical as well as remodel kitchens and bathrooms. So I dibble and dabble and pretty much whatever gonna get me a bag. But majority of my work now is low voltage, so that's your computers, your IT, telephones, cameras. Yeah, on the smiles. I've been in business for about say about 7 years. So yeah, I done did kitchens, bathrooms, basements. Now I ain't getting on no dang on roof. Yeah, Barbara, yeah, you right. If it other that, don't call me. Okay. I rather sleep. I rather sleep. Now my favorites is kitchens because I like to cook. So I will no, somebody asked me to remodel their kitchen. I really, really like those. Snatch them cabinets out, snatch up them floors. It's labor intensive though. So I have to stay in the gym to be able to rip up countertops, rip out cabinets, picking up tile floors. So well, you're making good money, Adonis. Yeah, electrician being a dangerous job. It was definitely it's definitely dangerous. Appreciate it, some of my yeah, when I first started as an electrician, I was working with voltage up to 480 volts. So pretty much watch yourself at work or you ain't going home. So yeah, they would call 480 smoking boots. So if you touch 480, it could blow out through your feet. So all my boots I got shockproof boots, but that don't mean that it's gonna save my life. It'll give me the extra time to get right though. You can get right with the Lord pretty much. If you touch something that high in voltage, you got no time to get right. Gotcha. Hey, make other than her now. Yeah, yeah. I did that. I used to work with companies and we're doing the big buildings, warehouses, conveyor belts. Um, he says, girl, you better get a crowbar and tear them cabinets out on the floor. Yeah, I do all that. Listen, whoever offering the bag, that's what he done is heading to the bag. That's it. That's all. I thought I was an electrician at 12 years old and certified my you electrocute. How you do that only? You stuck what you do? How you electrocute yourself? Now I done been shot a few times myself. Now I ain't gonna act like I ain't got hit before. I have been hit with a high note. I got hit with 277 volts and I tasted metal. And that's because somebody cut the power on while I was working. And that day, I was this it happened early in my career. That day I was thinking like, dang, should I be an electrician or should I go play with the babies at the daycare? It really made me change my mind. But then I saw what the women get paid for playing with the babies at the daycare. I was like, I could try and go back and go to work and not get shocked again. I could do that. OG said I've done a little of everything, but never done electrical. But everything else is a jack of all trades and a master of none. Yeah, everything else is pretty basic though. Really, electrical is basic. Cut the power off. Now I ain't gonna front to you. I don't be cutting the power off because I've been doing it for a very long time. I know enough not to get shocked. But early in my career, yeah, you live and you learn. You and it could be ego too, because I worked around a bunch of men. So my thing is I've always worked around men. So I'm never really around a bunch of women. I'm always around men. So I've gotten grown accustomed to dealing with uh the non-emotional beings. They are emotional, but not like as much as women. So I've worked with men majority of my life. And they're like easy to work with too. The funny part is I was always the only woman at work. He said, "Hope you carry a test." Oh yeah, I carry a test. Definitely. That's how I know what not to touch. Laugh my ass off. The socket wouldn't work. I told my mama I could fix it. She told me to carry myself to bed, and I'm still here. Only smile you learned today. She said, "Don't touch it." He said, "However," he said, "I was a country girl tomboy too." Done. Yeah, I listen. I like fixing stuff. Like I got cars that I work on. Hold on. He said the men I worked with were messy. Yeah, they were messy, but they were like a different kind of messy. To me, it was doable. Like men messiness are doable. They're like little boys. Women is like over the top. So me, corporate America behind the desk job, I can't do that. Like that's too much. Like, let me put my jeans and my boots on, and I go on out here and crack these dirty jokes with the men's, and we have a good time at work, and I go on home. That's that pretty much it. Tried, and I literally tried a corporate job, and I hated it. It was after being in construction. I tried to go corporate because I do have the credentials to get a corporate job. Nah, I can't stand it. I can't do it. Office stuff. Nah. No. Gretchen, you said more easier than a female because most females keep up mess. Girl, you don't want to get me started. Yes. It is. See, men, you're going to get the job done. Now, with men, you'll get the job done. And after the job is done, then they'll talk shit. Women trying to get the job done, they talk shit, and then the job may not get done because you're going back and forth, circular conversations. Men, they gonna look at each other like, "Hey, you go over there, do that. You go over there, do that. You go over there, do that." Now, they might bicker while they're doing it, but it's never not being done. With women, it gets bickering before we get started. He said, "Men messy with women usually be flirtatious." Uh, Now, when I work with men, I always kept with really anybody because we in 2026. I keep this in my mind. This saying does require a little profanity. I don't shit where I eat. Okay, so my money is my food. I'm not gonna shit where my food at. And you don't supposed to shit where you sleep. If you doing any one of those, you finna mess up your house and you gonna mess up your bag. You do not screw your coworkers. You don't screw the help. You don't screw your neighbor. Some things just don't do. So I call it shitting when you eat, shit when you sleep. So a lot of times, some of the women, especially if there's some women that might work in the other trades. Some of the women be screwing all over the job site. And I'm like, yo, y'all messing it up. You're messing it up for the ones that just want to come here and go to work. Only smile. She said, I'm so corporate, but I know now how to handle other corporate folks if need be. 30 years in corporate, I learned a lot. Yeah, I worked in corporate, and that was like a soap opera. That was the most messy cesspool, the whole office screwing all over the place I have ever met in my life. And I was selling life insurance. I was like, I don't think this for me. I don't want this my little commission and keep it pushing. OG girl said you have to let them know that you don't sign my check. So I don't have time for that. There's something else. Yeah, I was always up front, like, hey man, I'm here for one thing. That's money. I'm not here for your body parts. Just run me my bag. And that's it. That's all. Yes, Adonis, that was my experience in corporate. Yes, Frodo. I was like, what are y'all doing? Like the whole office is getting it. I was like, what is y'all doing? And then with me being quiet, people just come up and start telling me all the juice, the tea, and the Kool-Aid in the office. And I'm like, I don't want to know. I just don't want to know. He said, women are messy no matter where you work at. Yeah, that's why I stuck with construction. There ain't that many women there. I'm usually the only woman there. I'm usually the only woman in construction. Bag only, not here for friends. That's another thing I tell people all the time. Don't you party with your friends. Don't you party with your coworkers. Your coworkers are not your friends. Don't think they're your friends. Y'all are there for the same. Y'all really each other competitors. And if you working with somebody, don't tell them what your plan is. Don't tell them what you about to do. Just do it. And they'll find out later when you're done. You said, I bet you're glad. Yeah, working for myself, Barbara, has actually been the best. That's actually been the best thing smoking. Because I work when I want to work. I pick my schedule. I, of course, tell people what my price is. Either you gonna pay it or you ain't. That's pretty much it been it. It's been easy peasy. Now I don't have coworkers. I have subcontractors I use, to they go out and do work. And I keep it straight up. You work, I I'm not your boss per se. Like I'm nobody's boss, but when you're a subcontractor, I contract you to do a job, do the job correctly, so I can keep the customer happy. So I'm not your boss. You just let me know when you can come to work to complete this job. Now they have a deadline that person can't meet. I jump in and do it because I ain't finna miss no money. But for the most part, I get the job. I got a couple guys I call, boom, handle that. I pay them good. They have no problems working. And that's it. That's all. And you pay people good, pay on time. When they see your number in their phone, they gonna pick up. All right. OG says, I started working as a manager on Jamaica Avenue in Queens, New York. But my look mean anyway. I always told to smile. I always did. They say my smile, but had my head on doing my paperwork and leaving. Yeah, I'm like that, OG. I don't really smile that much at work. I noticed that if I smile and speak to somebody, they say we go together. Especially working with men. Man, you smile and speak to the wrong man, but you in a whole relationship that didn't even sign up for it. Frodo, I work for myself too. I don't want to see the same folks every day. That what kind of work you do, Frodo? Just out of curiosity. I don't like seeing the same place every day. I don't know how people drive to the same parking lot for 30 years. Like I know my parents did it, but driving to the same parking lot for 30, 20, 30, and 40 years, that ain't in my spirit. I don't know how them folk be doing that. They be like, yeah, I worked here for 55 years. No, no. He said, smile. I smile all day, every day, mad or happy. See the sign, see the name. Only smile. Yeah, I see. I have a natural resting bitch face, and everybody think I'm upset when I'm not upset. I be actually elated. It's just my natural face looks like I'm mean mugging when I'm actually a very happy person. I don't know why. Like I'm in my baby pictures, I have a natural resting bitch face. Okay. But that's trying to say you're right. Never make friends with people who you work with because they are not your friends. Once they get angry, the truth come out. Damn sure right. I said only smile said it is the longevity for me as long as I'm moving up the ladder. Yeah. Lemon law buybacks. You you sound happy. You like you like my cousin. Yeah, yeah. I'm a elated person. Once people learn your ways and how you do things, they're going to use it against you. Absolutely. Majority of the people that you run across nowadays, they looking for, I call it leverage, where if I can get something on you, I can hold it over your head and make you do whatever, 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 whatever. I always tell people, don't tell people too much. To keep it surface level, tell somebody something you don't mind having repeated. That's it. That's all. You said, tell us another story. Okay, let me find you another story. And that's what I was looking for. I think I got one for you right here. It says, The Laughing Man. You can turn on the lights for this one. It says, Nurse J was working with a patient who had many different illnesses, but just couldn't wrap his head around the idea of death. Even though he, even though it was imminent, whenever his monitors would beep, he would scream at the nurse, Don't let me die! Don't let me die! And at some point, the patient's cardiac monitors sounded an alarm, causing Nurse J and others to come into the room with a crash cart, only to see that patient was floating 2 inches above the bed, laughing manically. Once they got over the shock of what they were seeing, the nurses tried to revive the man, but their efforts were in vain. After the time of death had been called, Nurse J and the others could hear the man whispering, You let me die, too bad, and again, don't let me die. Nightmares hunted the nurses for weeks, as you can imagine. Ain't no way. He says, Gretchen, exactly. So you let them keep wondering about what's going on. Yeah, yeah. I don't know about this one. These are from the Grand Creeper. I don't know about that one. Let me pull up some more stories. This is the eyes that wouldn't close. Eyes that won't close. Okay, it said many hospital ghost stories center on patients who won't make the journey to the other side. But this one, of the most bone chilling we've ever heard, a nurse working in a palliative care unit was performing a topical post-mortem care routine on a patient when she noticed that his eyes hadn't been closed yet. The nurse closed his eyes and went back to business, only to look over and see that his eyes were still open. Fixating on the nurse's face, if that wasn't creepy enough, he then let out a groan and grabbed onto the bed rail as she watched him. After a triple checking his pulse and confirming that the patient indeed was dead, she quickly zipped up the bag and everything she could to avoid his eyes opening again. I don't know about somebody eyes opening. I don't know about that one. No, oh no, no, no. And this came off a website called Ortho Spine America. I'm finna pull up another. Don't worry. Yeah, Ortho Spine America is exactly. See if y'all got any more chats going on. Let's see. Oh snap! It's almost 12:30, yo. You said I'm out of here. Yeah, if I see some eyeball, man, I'm good. See, I wouldn't even make it. I wouldn't even make it. So y'all, it's approaching 12:30. I've been on here with 2 hours with y'all, and I really appreciate y'all for supporting me, pulling up on me. My days is Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's 11:30. Where you at? It's 11:30. Oh, you in Central Time. Yeah, it's Central Time. I am Eastern Standard, and I got some hot bills waiting on me in the morning. Like I said, I really appreciate all y'all for remember he wasn't going to hurt you. I appreciate all y'all for pulling up, supporting me. I'll be here Thursday. Thursday night will be another topic. It won't be similar to this one. It'll be a more of an interactive topic. Y'all bring y'all whatever y'all drinking, whatever y'all eat. I'll be going live around by 10:30. So look for the schedule. Also, I am starting other YouTube channels. I have been on a juicing journey. So I will be starting another channel for that for you all to see juicing for the people that are health conscious or trying to get their health together. So that's another channel I'm working on. And I'm also going to be working on another channel showcasing my work, such as the kitchens and the bathrooms, some of the cars I've restored, so you guys can see the works of my hands. So you guys enjoy your night. Thank you for hollering at me. You said one more story? One more story. One more story, Barbara. Hold on. Hey, Barbara, I will give you one more story. Let me see. Let me see what this website will do. This one for you, Miss Shirley. Hold on. I try to play a Facebook page. I'm finna see if I got one that gonna get you somewhere quick. Hold on. Spirit like rising fire. I don't think I read this one. Mhm. All right, here's one. No, I think I read that one too. Hold a minute. I done read through a couple of them. Oh, I didn't read this one. It says I worked in the nursery postpartum unit, which was previously an intensive care unit. It was a small unit, so I was usually alone with the babies in this nursery. We had a baby swing for fussy babies. We kept it turned off about once per 8-hour shift. The swing would gradually start swinging all by itself. We would leave it alone until it started swinging pretty hard and fast, at which time we would get up to stop it. It was always swinging all by itself without being turned on. You said you love this stuff and uncover mysteries. Well, you know what, Miss Barbara, since you're giving me ideas, I can put that in my mental notepad and start seeing what I can look up for you that we can discuss. Yeah, on the smiles, I'm definitely gonna put out some of my kitchens and bathrooms. I think I am the cat's meow. Because I'm trying to stop using profanity. I think I'm the cat's meow on snatching kitchens and bathrooms. I think I do a pretty sexy job on them. You said uncover mysteries. You said stop it, Gretchen. He said, hello, Barbara, this Shirley. You're going to be looking around your I try not to keep it too scary. I try to keep it a little light. I got to go to sleep myself. I don't want to be popping up, twitching at night. No, I try to keep it friendly. I really enjoyed y'all. Yeah, we're gonna keep these different topics going. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about Thursday. Thursday gonna be a surprise. It's gonna be good though. It's gonna definitely be good, y'all. So I want y'all to have a good night. God bless y'all. See y'all Thursday. Mark y'all calendars for me and pull up on me. I thank everybody for supporting the kid tonight. Peace. I'm laughing at y'all niggas. Yeah. Give it to me now. Y'all niggas real funny. Money Mafia taking over. Yeah. We clocking. I'm your first lady, riding that black Mercedes. Set up your nigga, got him saying I'm that first lady. Baby, your mouth is sassy. With a raising the dirty sauce. That's soft like baking soda. I hit you with arm and hammer. I'm a boss, bitch. You talk shit, I walk it. AK, what nigga with the full clip? Things you dream about, I already did it. From the streets to cul-de-sacs, from dimes to pound bags. I'm bragging, but these are facts. I see your head bobbing, I'm back. Man, you're robbing, I'm